this is going to affect people who are invested in whether they can get a loaf of bread and a pint of milk. In other words, it's going to be on a much wider scale.
Yeah, that's what we're being told. And as you say, usually with central bankers, they're wheeled on saying it's all right. And that's something they said last year. Do you remember? I think it was around about, September, October. The Bank of England said, "Oh, inflation, it'll peak around spring at about maybe 4%, and then it'll just fizzle out." And then they went, "Well, maybe it'll be about 6%, and it might be a little bit later." And at the time, I was going, No, it's going to be much more than that because of quantitative easing. And while we have a perfect storm, and it is quite irritating, as you say, to hear the governor of the Bank of England use words like apocalyptic and like it's nothing to do with him, when really much of this is because of him, because of the central bank, because of the insane amount of quantitative easing, money printing that they did during lockdown. Admittedly, they didn't come up with the idea of lockdown. That was government. You can give them the prize for that. But in order to keep things going, to pay this huge amounts of money to let people stay at home in furlough, they had to shake the magic money tree and produce enormous amounts of cash. And as Mervyn King has said, one of the former governors of the Bank of England, when you create insane amounts of money, but also reduce the amount of places where that money can go, and that's what happened during lockdown here and in other countries, you get inflation. And frankly, I think we're just at the start.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. 80% of all the US dollar bills in circulation were printed within the last 2 years. I mean, basically, the ink's still wet on them. That's how insane this situation is. But as you say, most of the things you could normally go and spend them on have been restricted and curtailed, and yet suddenly they're surprised that this is inflationary. Isn't it their job to note? That's basically money 101, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And, we're hearing all sorts of excuses. I'm incredibly, occasionally on other media, I'm sorry, it just happens every now and then. And I was on a program on another station recently where somebody said, well, it's a global thing, you see. There's nothing that the bank can do about it. And I was thinking, no, actually, there is. For a start, different countries, even if you go to Europe, different countries have very different inflation rates. Malta has about 5%, 5.4%. Estonia has 19%. Turkey has 70%. Argentina's been a basket case inflation-wise for years. So it really isn't just, world conditions. And it certainly isn't because, what they're trying to blame, the Ukraine war. That's the cherry on the top. Absolutely, that is causing problems. But we were going to have rampant inflation even without that. And you're mentioning food. I'm wondering about this food inflation that we've been warned about for a while. There's something. It just feels like there's something odd going on. I'm hearing from farmers that they're being encouraged to not farm. They're being encouraged also to remove food crops and replace them with I was going to say, anti-carbon, just energy producing crops. And just at a time when we're being told that food prices are going up, shouldn't we all be being told, right, go and grow some more food yourself and all the farmers, grow as much food as you possibly can? That you would think would be the right thing to say. And yet it seems to be the opposite. And I don't understand why.